Hi, this is Brian from the Full Recovery Wellness Center. Welcome. We're here in Fairfield at 87 Fairfield Road. Today I'd like to talk about recovery and how does recovery really come about? It starts with first making a decision, and that decision is to become willing to do whatever is necessary. You have to have enough. You have to say, enough of this, I'm sick of living like this, I'm not going to do it any longer. It's really that simple. That's where it begins. The second thing is admitting to yourself and to someone else that I don't know how to do this. I have no idea how to stay sober. I tried to do it myself. I lied to myself for years. I could do it myself. I was going to figure it out all on my own. Yet it never happened. The quickest way to achieve sobriety, like anything else, is to find someone who's achieving the results you want. You do what they did, you get what they got. I did what I did and I kept getting drunk. I kept getting stoned and it just didn't work. So that's the second thing, is you have to admit that there's an issue. You have to make a decision to change. You have to humble yourself, and then you have to practice what you preach. Practice, practice, practice. How do you learn anything? Right? You learn by practice, through repetition. How did you learn to tie your shoe? You've tied it 4 million times. You've tied it since you were 5 years old. Now you can tie your shoe in your sleep. Like anything else that we do, how did you learn to write your name? You practiced. How do you learn to accomplish any task, the job that you have, any hobbies that you have? You practice. We've all seen, for example, a place kicker wander out onto the field with 2 seconds left and kick the winning field goal and walk off the field like nothing happened. Or a guy walk out and make the clutch foul shot with seconds left on the clock. All kinds of people screaming, waving behind him. He doesn't even pay attention to him. He throws the ball up, turns around, doesn't even watch it go in, just swish. He knows it's going to happen. That didn't happen by accident. That happened through practice. Think about it. No actor, for example, would go on stage without rehearsing their lines. No doctor would perform any operation without preparing for every possible scenario that would come up. That's the same thing with recovery. You have to get in there and you have to practice. That's why the importance of going to treatment and staying for the full allotted time is so important. That's why going to a 12-step meeting or some other type of group meeting is so important, because you got to reinforce that on a daily basis. I'm sober long term, a couple of decades plus, and I still go to 4 or 5 meetings a week. Why wouldn't I? I go to those meetings because, number one, it allows me to be productive. If nobody was sitting there when I walked in, I wouldn't be sitting here today talking to you, telling you how to get sober or what it takes for me to get sober. You're going to have to figure out your own, but the easiest way to do that is to listen to someone who knows how to get and stay sober. So I go to those meetings, number one, to contribute to somebody else. Because when I'm contributing to somebody else, I'm not worried about my own problems. I'm thinking about being productive and useful and helping someone else. Number two, I have a good forgetter. I know people who have had decades and decades of sobriety, and through lack of commitment, lack of practice, not showing up at meetings, not doing what they did to get sober on a daily basis, they have a good forgetter, and after 2 and 3 decades of sobriety, have gone back out and picked up and been right back in the same misery they were a few decades earlier. So the idea is, anything you want to accomplish in life, anything you want to do well, you've got to practice. You've got to put the effort in. A lot of people are like the guy who stands in front of the fireplace and says, give me heat, then I'll add the wood. They want to get sober by osmosis. They want to do it their way, but it doesn't work that way. The idea is, admit you've got a problem. Admit somebody else knows the solution. Find that person, show up, take their suggestions, and practice, practice, practice. And you too can stay sober. You too can have a quality life. You too can make your dreams come true. This is Brian from the Full Recovery Wellness Center.